Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a page coming from the Tennis Mind game that basically deals with properly analyzing tennis matches here. So basically what the page basically discussed is about match analysis, and it's very crucial and vital for the improvement of any tennis player that plays in any level of tennis, even if it's professional, even if they're going on tour for championships all throughout the year, whether it's Melbourne, Paris, France, or New York City. Melbourne, Paris, London, or New York City, excuse me. So any competitive match is the final test of how good the player is in the technical aspect, tactical aspect, mental aspect, and physical aspect of the game. And we understand the offer basically explains he's seen too many times about coaches and parents analyze the tennis match only by watching them rather than actually taking methodical notes, which create a very biased and opinion analysis based on beliefs and predispositions and attitudes, and cause us to see what we want to see. So what the offer is basically proposing is to analyze the match based on objective facts rather than subjective and sometimes biased opinions. And these facts need to be carefully methodical during the match. Excuse me. Now they have a margin system where it's set up by Mr. John Yandel, in which the author actually modified the system and basically has set it up so to use the official statistics of a tennis match that's often displayed on the TV and official tournament websites, and they count the number of winners, including the service and the number of unforced errors, and they have that basically shown below. That's have the statistics from your local open website. The main difference between the way official statistics are done and the system is done is that you also count the shots that force errors. So the shots you believe are forced and making mistakes. So the shots come in the same category as winners, player created and won the point. An unforced error, on the other hand, is a point that's given to your opponent where that is at first glance. No actual reason for actually making the error. So these are all the shots that actually basically have done up here. Now you count the result of which the last famous points or loss. And you note this in the table. F stands for forehand, B for backhand, S for serve, B for volley, S for smash, BR, FR for return, B, P or F for passing shot. And you might add F drop or B slash forehand drop shot, backhand, so I see more accurate in the analysis. You have the example taking the stats. The game one match is as follows. Oh wow. So the apostrophe sign shows who is serving. S serve and unforced errors means the double fault, and S serve and the winners and forced shots means answer service winner. Whereas the margin is calculated by adding all the unforced errors of the set, adding all the winners and forced errors to the set, and then subtracting all the unforced errors from winning shots. If the result is positive, that means the player has won more points than he lost. In other words, the player did not beat himself up because he gave more points to himself than his opponent. Because the original aggressive margin for John Yandel counts only the number of winners, forcing shots, and unforced errors, and it's not taking into account on which shot the last point was made, and which the offer used comment section on the right, which can include various things noted during the game. When the offer does match analysis of match junior tennis players with whom he coaches, he expands conversation techniques, tactics, and mental physical aspects. Each section the weakness and strong sides of the player. And you see them literally here below, and they gotta be very slick on all this stuff. I don't want to try to read through all this stuff that's actually here. So the basically says the player has to be very realistic and in evaluating his or her playing abilities and skills. And the way analyzing the match provides the player to coach the pair with objective and reliable data, and which avoids arguments based on opinions, helps the player and the coach know exactly what to work on, what happened in the match. And you can actually see from all the analysis that you literally see up here. So let me just skip through all this right there. Now, a couple of examples that they have set up with all these charts that you have. Basically, this is how they would basically set up the analysis that you see up here. They have a couple of examples on how they break this stuff down. So this is going to be very interesting. We're going to do like a try and fail ordeal of really analyzing those matches, basically using like some CSV sheets or Tableau to see what we can actually try to get and try to come up with some ideas. And also we may have to use this offers method on how he handles some of the stuff with his analysis based on the situation he has up here. So if we look at the contact stuff that's there, we go to contact below and see who the gentleman is basically Mr. Tomas Mensinger. And I want to give a huge shout out to him because based on what we know, he definitely knows his stuff when it comes to tennis. This is going to be very, 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 very juicy. Juicy! Come.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to just give a quick update before I actually leave. I know this is some weeks later. I took a moment to actually look at the match statistics through IBM with all the rally statistics that they have up on file. And basically with how the analysis is basically set up according to what the instructor actually gave out with analyzing tennis matches. Is basically adding in all the unforced errors plus forced errors plus all the winning shots, and then subtract that all by the unforced errors that are set up from the winning shots. Now here's my issue when it comes to some of those statistics. They don't show my criticism with IBM is that they don't show the unforced errors that's set from the winning shot at all. So you can't even get like a thorough, accurate, aggressive margin to see whether or not the player was actually effective or ineffective when it comes to his matches on why he or she ended up having to struggle. So that's one of my issues when it comes to this whole deal. You literally have to try to figure out some unforced errors from a winning shot somehow by literally try to watch a match. So that's going to definitely take some time. So what I will do instead for the time being, sometime next month, the ATP and the WA will release all the official statistics that's in regards to this year's US Open by October. And by that time, I'll be able to actually take a moment to actually dig into that data set and see if I can try and set it up into a Tableau chart. So even if I was to actually engineer or literally compute the aggressive margin from both of these players set per set within all these approach shots and volleys that they have done, you know what I mean? It still wouldn't be able to give like a thorough event. It'll give like a very simplistic visualization, definitely will. It'll definitely have definitely much success there, but it's not going to be like a lot much detail involved. It's actually going to be very, very simple. So, in my opinion, I don't think data visualization in that case really isn't that much necessary because all you're doing, you measure your margin. At the end of the day, the player with the highest margin will more than likely win that match, just as we have seen with the U.S. Open. And as for the men's side, they already crowned the champion with Novak Djokovic with 24 singles titles, literally making history up in the tennis world. Shout out to him. And shout out to Coco Gauff for winning her first ever singles match tour with the WTA. First ever U.S. Open as a teenager since Serena Williams for a long time ago, which is historic. With that, Christian Paul for the Nerd Chronicles is signing out. Deuces.
Stop playing with them, Riot. And I'm bad like the Barbie. I'm a doll, but I still wanna party. Pink felt like I'm ready to bend. I'm a 10, so I pull in a Ken. Like Jazzy, Stacy, Nikki. All of the Barbies is pretty. Damn. All of the Barbies is bad. It girls, and we ain't playing tag.
Juicy.
La edad es solo un número, pero 24 es un número para la historia. A los 36 años y 3 meses, Novak Djokovic gana su cuarto US Open y su título 24 de Grand Slam.